Mr. Michael, pronouns he, them, calling in from Generous Apples. Fucking what? Who is calling specifically about Exodus 21 verses 22 through 25. How does two men accidentally killing a pregnant woman in the Bible equate to a woman having abortion, as some people claim? That is what it says on the call screen. I'm going to look up that verse really quick. Michael, Mr. Michael, pardon me, you are on AXP with John and Forrest. How are you doing today?
Yeah, you know, I'm blessed. I'm ready for eternal life. I'm ready to let God save you through my testimony, hopefully. How are you doing?
So I'm looking up I'm doing great. No thank you to that, though. I'm looking up this verse that says, if men strive and hurt a woman with a child, these should be punished according to the woman's husband, blah, 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 blah. If she have mischief, shall follow. So eye for eye, tooth for tooth. So it looks like this is talking about something else. I don't know what this has to do with abortion. What argument are you hearing?
All right, so I watched this video by Holy Kool-Aid, and I already responded to it, you know, and a lot of atheists like to use this part of Exodus to justify abortion, because in Exodus, if you cause a miscarriage, then you have to pay a fine, versus according to them, killing a woman, then you have to be put to death, which is not true.
I feel like there's a misrepresentation of the actual argument here. I'm sorry to step in. I know that I'm kind of interrupting you, but I feel like at least the argument that I've actually interacted with, it has been that this is evidence that they didn't consider a fetus to be like a whole person, because you just paid a fine for the fetus dying, and not that you killed another person. So like, I feel like you're being I'm not going to say that you're being disingenuous, but maybe you're just misunderstanding the argument, because this is actually evidence that that they didn't consider fetuses to be full-blown people. So that's what the actual argument is.
Yeah, that's what I was reading. I was trying to figure out how the hell that's talking about abortion, but yeah, it's the idea that there's a different punishment for a fetus versus a person.
It's not, because in the Exodus verse, it's talking about paying a fine if you injure or kill a woman. And in Exodus, if you actually...
they considered women property.
Hold on. Can I finish my statement?
Okay.
My statement?
Yeah.
Okay, you ready for me? All right. I'm sorry.
I can't tell if you're serious.
I hate when people interrupt me. And I mean seriously autistic, not like in a white boy version or nothing like that. But
what does that fucking mean?
What is that?
Because white people tend to use
I'm just gonna stop you right there. We're like, if you're a troll, just be done with it. Like I'm bored. We actually could have a productive conversation, or we could not. Like, what do you want to do, dude?
Okay, let me jump back to the point. You asked me to explain. Let me jump back to the point. But anywho, I wanted to like in the verse, it's actually not talking about killing a person if you killed a woman accidentally. It's talking about paying a fee for injuring a woman. It's not talking about killing a woman. And even if it's talking about like go ahead.
It's talking about killing a fetus. It says, if men strife and hurt a woman with child, so that her fruits depart from her, and yet no mischief follow, then he shall be punished according to the woman's husband will lay upon him, whatever that means, and he shall pay as the judges determine. So he's saying, if you cause a woman to miscarry, then you have to pay a fine. The very next verse, like the very next one from that section, verse 24 here, eye for eye, tooth for tooth, hand for hand, foot for foot, burning for burning, wound for wound, stripe for stripe. So the Bible's very clear. If you do something to somebody, you get that exact same thing back. it's going to be equal. There's going to be equal punishment. It's often said they don't mean this literally. You don't have to take your eye out if you take someone's eye. You have to have the repercussion, that the compensation has to be of equal value to the damage that you caused. And they're saying here that the equal value to causing a miscarriage is a fine. So it's not at the level of human life.
And the equal value of causing any damage to the woman is also a fine. If it was
because she's property.
Because she's property.
I mean,
because she's property. She's a wife. She's property. Okay. It's sexual servitude.
Well, actually, it doesn't say a wife. It just says a woman. But that might
sure, but like
semantics.
Oh my God, we can read the context of the Israelites at this time. If she was pregnant, she was a wife. Like there weren't single pregnant mothers in Israel like that. I mean, I'm not going to say that there wasn't those, but I'm just saying that the most likely scenario for the reference here is a married woman who is injured and is forced to miscarry, and then therefore whoever forced her to miscarry has to pay the husband. If she wasn't married, like let's just say that she was raped by somebody and impregnated and everything like that, which is horrible in general, but then they would have to pay the father. Like it's still like you're not paying the woman, you're paying the father, you're paying the husband.
Right.
Like the father's dead.
No, it says what John just said is really important. There is a part in this I remember that talks about like if you rape a virgin, you just pay her father money.
Right.
Like that's the thing. It's the same. Yes, you're right. There is also a numerical value to like bodily autonomy for women in general. That isn't making the argument I think you think that it is.
About that, it's talking about premarital sex. It's already discussed in Genesis 38 that if you rape a woman, you cannot marry her to settle it.
No. If you rape a woman, no. Hold on. We got to correct this. If you rape a woman, you have to pay a fine and you are forced to marry her. And so the victim is forced to marry her rapist, and you cannot divorce her at all. Like it specifically says you may not divorce her. Like you're married to her for life.
Also, like the whole beginnings of this thing is that you said that we shouldn't be using this verse to justify abortion. There's another part. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's in Numbers where they actually give detailed instructions. If you think that your wife has been unfaithful to you and is pregnant with another man's baby, then you're supposed to take her to the temple and the priest mixes some dirt into some water and then she drinks that. And if she has been unfaithful, she will then miscarry. That uses an abortion not only as a punishment, but as like a fidelity test. So like the Bible explains how to do abortions in that particular respect. Why didn't we go to that one if that's what we're talking about?
That's not all.
Also, who gives a fuck what the Bible says about abortions? That's another question.
That's not an abortion. You don't drink dirty water to miscarry. That's not an abortion.
Well, so what is it describe in that section right there? Like, what is that? They have to drink the dirty temple floor water, and then something happens. What is that something that happens?
It's talking about an infertile curse that's brought forth by the Israelites if the woman is unfaithful. That's not abortion.
No. So if the woman is, yeah.
I'm sorry. It specifically says that if this woman is pregnant and the husband suspects that she's been unfaithful, you take her to the priest, and the priest writes this word in the book, and blah blah blah, and she drinks this. They call it bitter water over and over. And if she has been unfaithful, then drinking this magic potion will cause her belly to swell and her thighs to rot, is what it says in my version. But that's just my translation, is that it causes her to miscarry. And so like that's what it's saying, is you will induce a miscarriage on purpose because this person is unfaithful. A deliberately induced miscarriage is an abortion. There's one of the versions of it.
Now,
Yeah, and
now,
it's actually a worse kind of abortion,
hold on.
because I
Can
do
ask
believe
you
that
a
it says
question?
that it causes her to be like infertile, like for the
Yeah, it says
doesn't
something
it?
else about, yeah, that's where it gets into
Yeah.
the curse bit. But like the whole point is that you are terminating a pregnancy. Like no matter how you slice this woman is pregnant, then she drinks this water, and then she is not pregnant anymore. So it is terminating a pregnancy. That is what abortion is.
Ask you something. Could I ask you something? If somebody drinks alcohol and then they have a miscarriage, is that an abortion to you?
If they deliberately use the alcohol in order to cause a miscarriage, then yes, that would be, it would be a very illegal and fucked up way to do it. But yeah.
Wait a minute. Why is it a fucked up way to do it when the alternative is just putting a needle in your stomach? Why is it
not the
putting
alternative?
the needle in?
Drink alcohol.
What do you know about abortions?
I don't think you know how abortions work, but like the main thing is that the concept of abortion is just deliberately terminating a pregnancy. That's what an abortion is, more or less. Like that's the definition I would give for it. Maybe if there's somebody out there who's a doctor who wants to give a more detailed or specific one, that's great. But the definition of abortion, as far as I know, is deliberately terminating a pregnancy, no matter how you do it.
So if I stress my girlfriend out to the point where she miscarries, did I do an abortion?
If you are deliberately, you and her together are deliberately using stress as a way to terminate a pregnancy, then it would be a very skewed version of it. It would be a stretch to call it that, but strictly technically speaking, it would be in that vein. The point is, you are terminating a pregnancy deliberately. That is what that is. Now, there's different ways to do that. There's medical ways. There's mechanical ways. There's all sorts of ways. But at the end of the day, deliberately terminating a pregnancy is abortion, or at least that's what we're going with here.
So basically, nearly everything. So basically, nearly everything is abortion to you. Like if you drink alcohol, that's abortion. If I kick my girlfriend out to stress her so much that she miscarries,
first of all,
you can have a miscarriage, which is an accidental thing. A miscarriage is not deliberate. Most pregnancies, a huge, I don't know if I want to say most, but a vast number of pregnancies end in miscarriage. That's not abortion. If people drink or smoke or get stressed out and have a miscarriage, that's not abortion. Deliberately ending a pregnancy is what I would use the term abortion there. The mode by which you do that is not really relevant to the definition.
You just said if somebody drinks alcohol and they have a miscarriage, that's abortion. But now
no, you're misrepresenting what Forrest said.
If they drink alcohol with the intended purpose of drinking enough alcohol to destroy their pregnancy, the intention is the key. If you could use alcohol, you could use fucking vitamins and shit. Like there's a lot of things you could do to induce a miscarriage, to cause that to happen, which is what abortion is all about. There's this old saying of potions, poisons, and long-handled spoons is the way it was. You drink all these different potions and poisons and concoctions, or use a long-handled spoon. You're inducing a miscarriage. That is what abortion is.
Does a long-handled spoon induce an abortion?
You would use it to like disrupt the mucus plug in the cervix and to damage the fetus. It would be a mechanical thing.
Oh, just like one of those hangers.
Yeah, a coat hanger is another symbol of what we call a back alley abortion. A coat hanger is another symbol of an unsafe way that people have turned to have an abortion when they needed one, because it was not legal for them to do it safely. So they turned to this very unsafe, very dangerous method. It's kind of a symbol of like medical repression and how fucked up our medical system is and our legal system is that allows for something like that. This horrific thing that somebody has to do in order to get the dignity and the rights and the care that they deserve. Yeah. Are we going anywhere with this, or are we just talking about how much you don't understand abortion?
Let me finish. Well, I'm not a female. I have never got an abortion. Maybe you have. I know that. I don't know what's going down there with you, so I don't know. But
that is a weird fucking statement to make. You literally just told Forrest, I don't know what your genitals look like, so I can't say whether or not you've had an abortion.
I mean, that's fair though. That's fair. That's almost polite. I appreciate that he didn't make an assumption. You know, that's great.
This is one way to look at it. Yeah.
I have also never had an abortion. I was waiting for that to devolve into transphobia. I'll be honest with you. I was waiting for the bullshit. I really was. I was waiting for the pivot. Be like, well, I know you think that women's and men's and stuff and the trans people's. I was waiting for it to get nutty. Mr. Michael, it's been a weird 14 minutes, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to even spend 5 on this one. So, like, do you have anything else that's like coherent to say, or are we done?
Okay. I'd just like to thank you for defending me. I didn't want to jump to the conclusion on your gender because I know like there's a lot of male presenting females and there's a lot of females presenting males. So I get that. And I thank you for...
I'm a cisgender man.
All right, cool. Thank you for clarifying that. In California, they actually charge women for drinking alcohol to the point where they miscarriage children, and they charge them with murder. Do you feel that this is a just charge?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it. As far as calling it murder, I don't know. As far as calling that a crime, having that be an issue, yeah, I have an issue with that. But whether or not murder is the correct charge, I don't know. I'd have to think about it a little bit more.
Why do you have an issue with that?
Because I support abortion access. So like if they don't have access to abortion and they chose to do it in a horrible way, I can't fault them. So I'm going to finish what I was saying. If they don't have access to a safe and legal abortion and they choose to do it in a horrible way, then like I would have a different set of rules for that. I do have an issue with the idea of drinking a bunch of alcohol when you're pregnant because we know that that does damage. Like if you complete the pregnancy and you give birth to this child, then that child is going to have some problems or is like a significant risk of having a lot of problems. So yes, I think that is wrong. And I have an issue with that. And I can understand having a punishment for that. But specifically saying I tried to get an abortion and I couldn't do it legally, so I did it in this way, which is, horrible. That's a totally different concept that I would have a lot more compassion for, even if I do think that it's wrong. And if I do think that should be some punishment for it, I don't know if murder is the charge that I would attach to that because I don't think that fetuses are people.
So if Mr. Michael, if you really want that to stop happening, you know what you should probably do? Vote for politicians that, want to provide access to abortion care, because studies have shown that the more readily available that abortion services and other health services like abortion are available to people, the less likely they are to actually turn to such radical solutions like that. Now, I think that it would be a bad idea for you to do it in that kind of way. But I also think that if that is actually a problem, then it's only a problem because United States politicians have made it a problem. I don't know what the laws are in California. I doubt that California has anti-abortion laws, but then again, like I said, I don't. Oh, do they? Do they? Sorry. No.
Yeah.
They don't. So, I mean, what I'm saying is that if you really don't like that particular practice, then vote for people that are going to codify Roe v. Wade and that are going to provide abortion access for the full 9 months. So, I mean, that's what I would say about that.
Yeah, the whole thing is like the things that have shown to like actually reduce abortion is like comprehensive sex education, easy access to contraception, like empowerment of women so that they have control over their destinies, their education, their those are things that actually increase or decrease abortion rates. Criminalizing abortion and making abortion murder and all these different things, all that does is it drives up unsafe abortion. It doesn't actually reduce abortion rates. It drives up illegal, back alley, unsafe, dangerous abortion rates.